You're listening to the Ballet Piano Podcast, lifting the lid on dance accompaniment.
Hello, listeners and viewers, and welcome back to the penultimate episode of the Ballet Piano Podcast for 2024. It's episode 76. We're nearly getting towards the end of August 2024 as we release this. So,
what are we going to do for the 100th?
Oh, I don't know. We'll go on a roller coaster.
We should sit in our pants, shouldn't we?
We'll go on a roller coaster and fly around and talk about, I don't know, hemi-demi, semiquavers and hemiolas, or how you interpret a tendu.
We should do it live from the Common in Clapham.
Right, before we delve straight in, I'm Chris Hobson. We've got Akiko Hobson.
Konnichiwa.
We've got Mark Gregory.
Hola.
And we've got David Yow.
Hi, everybody.
Right, this is How Pianists Interpret Teachers' Marking and Exercise. It's a slightly wordy title, but it does what it says on the tin. Mm-hmm. So, what we've done is taken on the requests and the comments from people, which is we like it when you play, we like hearing you do what you do. So we thought, well, how can we do this? So we've recorded David setting exercises. He doesn't remember what he's recorded because he did it a couple of months ago.
In our living room.
In our living room. And then each of us, in one take, watched it and then played what we would play. So we're going to play you David's exercise. We're going to then play you the 3 music examples and we're going to talk about it.
And even though this was done a couple of months ago and Chris sent them to me, I did mine this morning at the time of recording.
This morning.
And I said,
did a few days ago.
I said, I'm not going to look at them until I plan to do the recording because that's in real life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
that's real life.
I recorded David setting these, but it was I think it was February or March when we actually recorded it in our living room. So I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember what you told me when you arrived here 2 hours ago.
I can't remember what I did.
Right. Well, you're going to find out now, David. So I believe the first one was a tendu. Let's see. Do you want to watch yourself as well?
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Here we go.
So Batman tendu on a 5/4. Yes. So 2 bars in. Ta 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 ti ta 1 ta 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 ti ta 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 in 2 3 in and ta 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 ya ba ba in 2 3 2 ta ya ba 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 derrière and 2 ballet soutenu and hold plie reverse and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm not singing that 5/4 anymore. 1 2 and 3 and 4 5 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 1 2 and 3 soutenu, hold and stop.
Disclaimer: when I recorded mine this morning, the first time I slipped into jazz waltz because I couldn't stick in 5. It was 9:30.
Oh, fair
but
enough.
then, so it's easily done.
Oh, it's easily done to
You've got to
slip out.
concentrate
Right,
for 5/4.
Right. So here's one version of it. Pianist number 2, please.
So that was Moon River
That was Moon River in a ballet studio
this morning.
in Covent Garden.
But where it's normally in 3, you just make every other bar a 2/4 bar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Last one incoming.
I found that really interesting because when you two started to play your tunes, you sound so similar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I knew it was you because you started to elaborate. Because
Get
you did your
cocky.
thing. You did your thing. But I didn't know from the beginning who it was between the two of you.
Yeah.
Really?
But I knew it wasn't Matt. That's interesting. That's interesting for me.
Is it because you're married?
Oh,
don't know what-
we
maybe.
all, we
I
all,
don't know.
Maybe it is.
we
I
all
don't
played
know.
the same intro.
The intro
Yeah.
is all pretty much
Yeah.
the
It's
same.
more of a jazzier 5/4. That's what
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah.
Because there's other different ones, isn't
Yeah,
there?
maybe because I've worked with you on and off over the years. I know when you do the 5/4, you can sing take 5. So
Yeah.
it's the easy go-to
Right,
for me.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating.
I once tried to play Somewhere from West Side Story in a 5/4 for your Tundu, but it didn't work because
Right.
it didn't have the sort of jazzy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1.
It is doable.
It is doable. It does work very nicely on a 5/4 somewhere, but it didn't serve the exercise for
Yeah.
that Tundu for me.
I think when you're butchering a tune like we just did, if you think of a bar of 3 and a bar of 2,
Yeah.
that's how I butcher tunes.
I mean, because the
For
other
David's 5/4 plie as well, I do the same thing, a bar of 3 and a bar of 2.
Because I did think about doing the ET theme tune, but doing the same thing, a bar of 3 and a bar of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So it's almost like a polonaise on 5 counts, which I
Yes.
remembered because you'd said that.
That's how
hadn't you another time?
Yeah, 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4, 5, 1 and a
Yeah.
2. It's like a polonaise without
Yeah.
6.
Oh, right.
So that's another sort of 5/4.
Right. How
Right.
do you-
So, David, go on.
Akika, how do you go about your Swan Lake one? How do you go about doing that?
I just came up in my head and I just did it. So
You've got to feel that 5, haven't you? If you
you just keep and then but you know, like being a ballet pianist, everywhere you go, you're constantly picking the tune from like
Yeah.
some like adverts or
the lift, the shopping mall,
Yes,
wherever
shopping
you
mall.
are,
Really?
that'll work
Yeah.
for ballet.
and then one
really?
day it just comes up that
Yeah, theme tunes.
actually I can do this in 5.
Yeah.
Because I've got
Yeah.
a massive list of notes on my iPhone,
Yeah.
which just says like tunes I'm going to look at for class. And
Yeah.
it
Oh,
will
wow.
just be anything that I hear, like if I'm in Tesco shopping or if
Yeah.
I'm anywhere else.
Well, you know my Fur Elise in a Latin
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
That was a theme tune for an ITV show once. I thought, I know Fur Elise. I'm just going to put it on that rhythm and
Yeah.
feel, and then it becomes a Latin jump.
Oh, wow.
So I think we all did something semi-similar with that, didn't we? But David, your instructions were very clear with what you wanted for that.
It's
wasn't it?
crystal clear,
It was
isn't it?
it was a very specific 5/4, and this is where it's and it's you said it was on the upbeat and whatever. So like, even if the tunes we arranged didn't have the upbeat, like Akiko made an upbeat
Yes.
in her introduction to sort of facilitate that. So the melody.
I didn't do that, did I?
I know, but you were just testing the dancers, weren't you? Seeing if they'd had their
Were they
coffees.
awake also at 9:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
Right. Next up, I think it was an adage. Let's see.
Adage exercise with the centre. All right. Sorry if I go out of shot because I'm going to start moving around. Okay. On a 3/4, shall we say? All right. So starting croisé, and we have 4 bars in. 5, 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8. Little step. E1. Développé, écarté derrière 2, and 3. Relevé en face. Fondu 5. Soutenu 6. Pas de bourrée 7, and chassé. Arabesque 2, promenade 3, rotation 4, and grand fouette italien 5, and 6, and 7, pas de brianda, and 8. Then we're on the other side. E1, 2 écarté, 3 relevé en face, 4 fondu, 5 soutenu, 6 and tombé, 7 and 8 chassé, 1 quarter turn, 2 promenade, rotation, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7 pas de bourrée and 8. There we go.
So there we go. That's David's adage set, I mean, dare I say, beautifully. We were just saying...
And the square.
Yeah, I mean, it was square, thank you.
square.
But we were saying, yeah, it's nice that we get David to come to our flat and set ballet exercises with nobody else here, just with me with a camera. Oh, it's part of the brand. Right. Pianist number 1. Here we go. That's you. That's your signature.
I do little things like that, don't I?
It's very emotional.
Little things like that as well. My little fill-ins help me keep the tempo because
Yeah.
you're filling in between the bar lines.
Yeah.
It stops you changing the
Yeah.
tempo.
Right.
It keeps you,
It gives you that
keeps
sort of metric
Yeah, exactly.
stimulation.
Yeah.
Right. Here's a Kiko.
Lovely. Well done.
That was so pretty. Is that Bach?
It's Goldberg. But I'm sure classical pianists are going to kill me now.
Do you know, there's certain things like Johnny Lowe said in his episode a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? He said, like, is there a tune that you want to play but don't play?
Yeah.
Or what tune can you reference but, you know... What...
I'm sure many people don't want to do this.
I've never played Goldberg for class, but hearing that, I think I might maybe have a little play with it at some point and see what I come up with. I don't know.
But in a similar vein, hymns work
Yeah.
just as well because
Yeah.
they're very sort of chordal and sort of minimal,
Very churchy.
very churchy,
Churchy.
and they're lovely.
Right. This one's not that churchy.
gorgeous.
That's the Moon River ending.
It is the Moon River milky ending.
Yeah.
And as we were just saying then, why would you play a C major scale ascending when you can just smash out a glissando? But, all right, so 3 different pieces of music, but I think all equally as passionate, yeah?
For a dancer, to that, all 3 pieces are so inspiring in completely different ways, but all of 3 of you on an emotional level, for a dancer, would make me want to dance. I'm sitting in my seat wanting to get up and dance right now.
Don't let us stop you, David.
That's a Prosecco talking, David.
Wind back the years, I would. But that's what you need as a dancer. You need to be moved. And I was just watching. My sister sent this clip about. Have you watched the piano, the competition that they have on Channel 4?
Oh, on Channel 4, yes.
With Mika and Lang Lang.
They have this guy from Liverpool. His name is Brad, I think.
Right.
And he's playing this, and he's composing. These pieces are composed, so they don't have a recognizable tune.
Yeah.
But I was already in tears within 4 bars. I was in tears. And the audience, they pan to the audience, they're all crying. And that's what you want in a pianist, is to help you to bring you with them on that journey.
Yeah. So, I mean, that shows you can play pop music, you can play
anything.
Baroque music, you can play musical theatre.
Absolutely.
And if you play it with certain passion and intensity, it will work for a variety of stuff in class.
And with adage, you can go big or go home, or you can just absolutely put that tiny spotlight on it and just make it just hang so delicately in the air.
And it works.
And the dancers love both.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that trick of being big on one side and tiny on the other. Ian Knowles told me that for pliés. He said, let's just do an experiment. First side of pliés, absolutely nothing, as sparse as you like. And second side, really give it to them and see what happens.
See, I like doing that in adage in the opposite way. So I like starting massive and really giving it. Say with something
Giving
like...
it all up front.
Giving it all up front, showing off, swipe right. No try before you buy, just go for it. So giving it the, say like that I just did, You'll Never Walk Alone.
Yeah.
But then if that was only the first side, really taking it down 90% and maybe just doing the feather theme from Forrest Gump. But jumping up to the top of the piano.
Yeah.
So you've got the next 3 phrases, you've got the next 24 bars of total sparseness and the opposite of what you just had, and then just for the last 8 counts bring it back in so it finishes at the level that it started, just to watch the different emotions.
Funny story for the performance platform.
Oh yes.
When we did the taster classes on Thursday, I played You'll Never Walk Alone, and they loved it for the class.
Yeah.
But they had to do it on the day of the competition the following day, and they used RCD, which is you doing it. I got so many compliments for that, and it was me. Everyone said how beautiful that recording was, because they thought, I was like, that's Chris. Because I play it differently.
Yeah.
You make the melody move like almost twice as quick as I do.
Yeah, the same.
But there are 2 ways of playing it.
Yeah, of course. Right, dancers and listeners, in a couple of weeks, listen to that,
will
and we
do
will
both.
We'll stick both on the YouTube and the social media. I was going to say we'll put a vote out on there, but we won't, because I'll lose.
You won't.
Right, so on this musical hop, skip and a jump through how pianists listen to David and then basically ignore him and do whatever we want to do, I think it was a Pitti Allegro next. Let's see. Here we go.
Pitti Allegro on a 6/8, all right? Okay, so you've got your right leg derrière, and we're going to do 5 under, 6 under, 7 and 8. Jeté over, ton levé, jeté over, ton levé, yes? Glissade, tombe de cuisse, ton levé, coupé, toe chassé, and assemblé en avant. I'll go back a little bit, I'll do the other side. Yeah? So rhythmically it goes E1 and 2 and 3 and 4, E5 under, 6 under, 7 and 8.
Right, so that was the exercise. Here's a Kiko. Matt's here.
heard before.
You all play it. It's Human Again from Beauty and the Beast. But much quicker.
I didn't. I know. I knew I knew the melody, but I didn't know where it was from. It was one of those.
Yeah. From the stage version of the musical, yeah.
Right. Last one. Right, so Akiko said that hers was her go-to. That's my go-to, and it's known as the Piano from Hell, and it was from Northern Ballet's A Christmas Carol, composed by the late great Carl Davis.
Oh.
And it was just before, and it was written in the score, the three old hags come out. But it was just, and it was known because it was basically, it's not very hard to play, but you were in a pit with a clavin over, and you put it on the most horrendous honky-tonk piano sound going. And then just after that finishes, there's a massive glissando, and it slows down, and all the strings join in, but ever so slightly out of tune. Oh. And it just all goes a little bit hellish and a bit sort of tavern scene.
Yeah.
So that's my golden go-to for anything like that. And I think,
On a 6/8, I play that waltz from The Merry Widow, which I'm sure we all know. But that works for 6/8 as well.
Yeah.
Because that can often feel quite slow on a 3/4, depending on how you play it and how you fill it in, can't it? Like for a big sort of Grand Allegro waltz, or for a 6/80 sort of waltz, that's quite perfect. But I think we were all quite similar in our approaches to that, weren't we? Relatively. Like, obviously, the melodies were different, but we all started playing at roughly the same time.
Yeah.
The introductions were basically identical.
I mean, I played that very quick. That wasn't the tempo you set, David.
But it was a 9:30 tempo.
Yeah, exactly. The dancers were starting to come into the studio. Oh, right. And actually, knowing me, if I'd have had the dancers in front of me, I would have just sorted that out very quickly.
I mean, tempos for this purpose are it's an irrelevance now.
But do you like, so this is just obviously one set that David, and we just did one set, right? But like the same as others, like I want to know whether they're going to do right and left continuously, or if it's a jump, do you want the 4 counts in between or 8 counts in between? Because if it's continuously, there's so much I can do. But if I have to be like 4 in between, or like you have to like, sometimes you have to cut this exciting bit of the music.
Interrupts what you're trying to do. Yeah.
I find that often with adages, actually, certainly with centre adage, like when I really want to go big.
Yeah.
And then if the teacher was saying that, and if it's only 16 counts each, that's a shame. Like, I can't do my modulation in the middle, or I can't, the glissando won't fit in, and I can't start off with the glissando in the introduction because it's not appropriate at that point.
And then some tune like others, like it's 64 counts and complete actual music, whole music, and then they said, right side, and then stop, and like you just can't play half of it.
Yeah, because you've set yourself up to do both sides, and then you suddenly stop, and it's that sort of like you didn't quite climax moment or something like that.
And if you put the 4 counts in between, it just doesn't work, does it?
Have you ever done that in adage though, where you leave your tune unresolved on the dominant 7th or something, or a fancy? I've done that. It's quite
just
quite,
leave. It's
just leave it hanging.
Read the room, and if it's appropriate to do it, just try it.
And then some musical idiot. Oh my god! Please cut that. Some musical savvy person will be listening for you to resolve it. Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
But you don't resolve it, and that's almost like, I will do that actually often, not often, but it's sparse regularity. If the exercise stops halfway through, and I won't try and resolve it because the climax is coming for which would be your second side.
Yeah, and if you play "Let It Go" from Frozen, it finishes on the subdominant, so I just leave it.
It never. What's the
cold
word?
never bothered me anyway. Yeah. It's like the subdominant or something.
Because we're from the north, the cold doesn't bother us. Right, and like every good ballet class, it finishes with a Grand Allegro. So here's David setting a Grand Allegro for women and for men.
Grand Allegro, okay? Forgive our little restricted space, but we're going to kind of fit it all in. All right, on a big, big waltz, all right? We have 4 bars in to run in, 5 and 6 up to the top corner, 7 second arabesque, allongé, et entrelacé, facing the corner, 2 gallop, 3 grand jeté en avant, pas de bourrée, posé, piqué, and fondu, and grand fouetté sauté, landing first arabesque, et grand assemblé en tournant, and stand, and chassé, coupé, step saut de basque, soutenu for the gentleman, plié double tour. Yes, for the ladies, after the assemblée, step back, tombe pas de bourrée, and glissade, développé jeté. So it goes with the music, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. E1, gentlemen, and 3 and 4, E5 and 6, soutenu, 7, E8.
David couldn't have been more crystal clear in that setting, could
He's
he?
like Tiffany, isn't he?
Right.
Yeah.
Swarovski.
This is how I butchered David's musicality. Spin around. So what I did in that record was, because David said for the gents and for the ladies, I thought, well, the ladies should come first because they're ladies. So I played for the ladies first, then I did a version for the men, and the men like it slower often and heavier, and usually they'll try and add in multiple pirouettes at the end, which I know irritates David, but... When I recorded that, David wasn't here, so I could do what I wanted. I could facilitate those multiple pirouettes and ruin that music, and David couldn't do a thing about it. So that was Waltz of My Heart. I'll be honest with you.
I love that.
It's my golden go-to
It's
for
just a beautiful tune.
and you can fill it out because the melody's, it's not sparse, but it's, you can drag it out and the melody still stands the test of time.
The melody is beautiful.
Very uplifting, isn't it?
You could even reharmonize that with the same melody and do something. The melody is great.
The melody just functions.
And even the accompaniment, it's got the right lifts where you need it.
And you can put the accents on, you know, 2 and 3 or 2 or 3, and it will work, and it withstands an absolute butchering that tune. So it's been one of my golden go-tos for years, that one. Right. What did Matt do?
Marvellous. Well done.
So the versey bit is in C major, and then the chorus bit goes to C minor. But there's so many little chromatic bits in it, which adds a bit of tension.
Really
Yeah.
nice.
And if you've got the men on that, the chorusy bit, it goes minor, it goes a bit bigger.
Yes.
And actually, it starts in C, and then you've got D over C, which gives it, what even is that chord called? Do you know what I mean? Like D over C. And it
C major with D in the bass. That's it, yeah.
No, C in the bass, D major with C in the bass. It just keeps getting lifted. Anyway,
Nice.
I do like that.
I love that. I'm going to nick that. Do you mind?
No, because you'll play it better than me.
The thing is, we never listen to each other, right?
No, the
so
three
we
of
don't
us
know what the
never
other
do.
pianists do.
No, I know.
It's like even when we all work together
Yeah.
every now and then in
That's
the Western
fascinating,
Hemisphere, we
actually.
never hear each other because like if Matt was coming in, it would quite often be because I wasn't there or Akiko wasn't there and vice versa. And of course, if Matt was in and Akiko was off, I was working and so the studios never cross. So this is probably the most we ever hear each other play.
It is actually, yeah.
It's quite nice.
I love
like
it.
it.
It's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Right. Last one.
Oh.
You okay, Akiko?
No, I'm
Do you want a Prosecco top up?
No, it's okay.
Bravo.
I love that.
But it's. I mean, it's nice, but the original one is nicer.
What's the original?
I mean, because it's not square.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know that bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you have to.
But you get the flavour of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tune. I need. I've
Flavour.
got the. You gave me the dots. I've not learnt it yet. It's such a. Everyone plays it, but it's just. I love it. It's
very
I
uplifting.
really love it.
And it works really well because that's another one for a grande allegro that will take a load of butchering, won't it? That one,
Yeah.
you can really pull it about and you can stretch it, you can speed it up, you can, and it just.
I think Jonathan said to me there was maybe like in the 90s or something, everyone used to ask for that and everybody played it. Like it was so fashionable, that tune. And everybody played it in every class virtually. And Jonathan said that tune was like really fashionable. So it's like stood up, hasn't it? The test of time. It's great though.
No, that's a good go-to.
Yeah. I will be learning it.
Did anybody say, like, because you see the David setting, but you're playing on your own.
Yeah.
Didn't you feel a bit nervous because you don't see the dancers in front of you?
Oh.
I felt a little bit strange.
For that grande allegro, I just
Yeah.
used my muscle memory and sort of just imagine
I
what I
sort
would
of
be
didn't
doing.
feel nervous because when I did it, I was at home on my own, so I
It
just
was
set up the kit.
well,
Whereas
No
I was
inhibitions.
Chris watching
yeah,
me.
whereas
Yeah.
Akiko had me here because I'd set up the microphones for Akiko,
Yeah.
and then you had people in your studio, didn't you?
Yeah, but the dancers, no one. They were just like a couple of them.
they
coming
don't-
in.
Yeah, and Chris giggled one of them, and it just made me feel nervous.
Yeah, but quite even in the what did I play for my adage for you? You'll never walk alone. I play a wrong note because I always do somehow, and I always play a wrong note instead of playing a C. I always C octave. I always clip a top B as well when I do it because it's just awkward for my fingers.
Yeah.
I just hate having another pianist in my class.
Well,
You guys,
You should
the
have.
other day, I was playing in the class, and then suddenly these guys,
Just turned up.
and then the teacher was like, "Oh, come in." I was like, "No, they're not coming in."
It was when we recorded Johnny Lowe's episode on
At the
location.
school, yeah.
Let's say we were on Floral Street.
Yeah.
And then so we set up upstairs. We went. Akiko was there, so we
Chris
waved.
sat next to me.
I went and sat away from Akiko and
No,
watched
but
you
you
were
were
like-
sitting
I bet
in
you
the
sat right
Lower
next to me, I
studio.
bet.
and he sat on her
I
knee
bet you.
basically and put her off.
And he was looking at my finger, Chris. Yeah, this one. He was like,
Yeah, not sorry, but it was funny. As we all
was-
know,
no.
humour wins. Right. Let us know what you thought. What would you have played for David's setting? If you want to stick some comments in the comments below on Facebook or Twitter or on, what's the other one, Instagram, etc., that's great. And make sure that you join us next week for the final episode of the Ballet Piano podcast for 2024. And it's called Question Time, but it's the opposite of what you've heard recently because you've never heard us basically try and probe each other and annoy each other and ask each other questions. And Matt asked some leading questions.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And, there is some of it's fun, but there is, the usual bit of insightfulness in there as well, I think. And it's going to be a fantastic episode. So that's going to drop next week.
"Sorry."
So please join us next week. So until then, it's goodbye from me.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.